Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Friday morning. It's now the 27th day of June 2025. This is the morning briefing coming to you from the home weather office. Another beautiful morning, very comfortable temperatures first thing this morning. And as we head through the afternoon, we are going to see warmer temperatures than the last few days, and that'll last into Saturday and Sunday, with many valley spots in the range of the upper 90s to around 100. And there will be some hotter spots, especially from Butte County to the north, where we will likely see some afternoons that are above 100. But around Sacramento, San Joaquin counties will be close, probably that upper 90s range. Either way, it doesn't look like it's anything excessive at this time of year. And for Sacramento anyway, we haven't seen an official 100-degree day in the month of June, which is relatively rare. So far, so good. But as I mentioned yesterday, eventually this pattern will change. Eventually we will see a shift from the warm weather back east and the cooler weather, mild weather in the west. That will shift. And there are signs of when that may be shifting. I'll show you that coming up in a couple of minutes. Let's get to what's happening first thing this morning. We do have clear skies. One of the differences you can point out first thing this morning is that in the Bay Area, there's not much in the way of marine layer right on the coast. So it has been pulled away from the coast a little bit. And that means less in the way of cool air to get pushed inland, as we will have an onshore breeze this afternoon. But as I zoom in a little bit closer, you can see that areas like in Marin County are clear. Same thing in Napa County. You don't have anything into being pushed inland through the bay. We do have the fog down into areas like down Carmel and Pebble Beach, and through the Salinas area, we have plenty of fog here, but that too will burn off. Nothing going on in the valley, the foothills, or the Sierra. And man, in the Sierra, it's just tough to find anything in the way of snow left. There is still some, but it's harder and harder to see on the satellite. Okay, so let's see, how have we done so far this month? This is the climate summary from Executive Airport, and this column are the high temperatures, this is the low temperatures, then the average, etc., and the rain. Of course, we haven't had anything in the way of rain. We did see that one day went to 98 degrees on the 18th. But right after that, we dropped 84, 80, 81, 83, 93. Yesterday came in at 92, just right in the close to the range where the models were thinking. The models were thinking around 93, 94, so it was slightly on the low end of that. But also, notice the overnight low of 56. Now, the overnight lows this weekend will be a little bit warmer, more like 60 to 62. But still, again, we're not looking, well, I know we've been talking about some hotter weather this weekend. We're not looking at a situation where it's going to be 108 with an overnight low of 70, which we all know we can do at this time of year. Instead, we're talking about highs, maybe let's say 98 with an overnight low of 62. So a little bit warmer, but nothing worth jumping up and down about it, because we all know just how it can be at this time of year. So yeah, so far this month has been pretty good. And if you look at the overall average, the departure from average it's a half a degree below. Within the half a degree, that's fine. Once you start seeing the monthly average, now keep in mind the average here, 71.3, that's both the highs and the lows. And so far it's a half a degree below. And, we do see months that are 2-3 degrees one way or the other. So a half a degree, it's not a big deal, but it's basically been a pretty comfortable month of June. Now, we are going to see a little bit of a change over the next couple of days. The onshore breeze won't be quite as strong. This is this morning around 11 o'clock, generally light winds. But as is typical, as we get into the late afternoon, we are going to see the breezes pick up a little bit more, but not so much through Sacramento County or San Joaquin County. Maybe in Discovery Bay, we'll see a little bit. Also, the east side of the Sierra, the typical afternoon winds will pick up. But again, that's 5 o'clock today. Let's go to 5 o'clock on Saturday. 5 o'clock on Saturday. The onshore breeze is a little bit farther inland, so it could be one of those days that areas like Sacramento and Stockton, Modesto get to, let's say, 97 or 98, and then cool off rather quickly in the evening. But you'll notice that once you go, let's say around Marysville, let's draw Highway 20 right here, North of Highway 20, the winds are light, and these are the areas that are likely going to see some hotter afternoons. For that, let's go to the HRRR, and let's go to this afternoon at 5 o'clock, right here. So let's see. Once you're north of Chico, we have temperatures here around 100, 102, 103. Around Sacramento County, 97, 98, and the same is true in San Joaquin County. And into the foothills, generally low to mid-90s. Obviously, you go up to 4,000 feet, will be around the upper 70s. Do keep in mind that this model has been running 2 or 3 degrees on the high side. So while it may say 98, it may be more like, 95 or 96, kind of splitting hairs. That's this afternoon. The models have been consistently showing tomorrow afternoon, Saturday afternoon, to be the hotter. And if you go toward Redding, this is showing 106. Toward Marysville, 101. Around Sacramento, maybe 98 or 100. San Joaquin County, also that same range of mid to upper 90s. And then you go to the south end of the valley, also pretty hot. In the Sierra, not bad, generally 70s to around 80 degrees. The other thing we're, of course, keeping an eye on is the chance of getting any showers in the Sierra. And for that, I'm going to show you the NAM. And by the way, I got a notice yesterday that next year the NAM is going to get phased out. Yeah, there's a new array of products that'll be taking its place, and I'll talk more about that at a later time. But yeah, the NAM next year goes away. I like the NAM. This is Sunday, going through the day Sunday. The NAM not showing anything. The GFS had been spitting out some showers farther to the north. The NAM this morning says none of that. But then on Monday, maybe we get some showers up toward the Trinity County and points north, that area, and then farther up toward the state line. If these are thunderstorms, we don't know if they are. This is 5 o'clock on Monday afternoon. Then the fear here is getting lightning strikes with that. And this is an area prone to lightning-started fires, relatively remote. You get a lightning strike in here, and you could have one of those fires that goes on and on and on. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on, is the possibility of that. But right now, not seeing anything developing along the crest of the Sierra. All right, I hinted at the fact that we are most likely going to be seeing a pattern change take place. And for that, I'm going to show you a different product than I usually show you. And I know there's a lot of colors on here, and it may be tough to pick out exactly what we're looking at. But what we're looking at here are 500 millibar winds, the same height lines that I usually show you here, the black lines. And then we have the temperatures here. Now, these are temperatures at 18,000 feet. And actually, as I scroll over this, you see 19 degrees, and it's 19,000 feet. And over California, it's 19,200 feet. So you get the idea, 18 degrees. Either way, what I want to show you, this is what we have going on right now. We have warmer weather. Now, the warmer is by these blue colors. I know the scale seems weird here. The colder air, this magenta color, and the coldest air are these gray colors. Okay. So over the western states, here's California, here's Texas, here's Florida. And then here's New England. So we've been hearing about all the heat back east, and there it is, and the mild weather here. Okay, now eventually we have this little low spinning around here, which is why we may see that possibility of showers and thunderstorms. And then the ridge starts to rebuild over the Four Corners area. As you can see here, here's the ridge now. So instead of being draped over the East Coast, this is up to, this is next week, next Wednesday. Now we have ridging over the, let's say, along the crest of the Rockies and to the east. Okay? And everything's fine in California because we still have these little troughs coming by, but the ridging generally stays just off to our east. This is the end of next week. Beyond that, however, the ridge starts to rebuild. Now we start to get the classic Four Corners high. This is around the 6th or 7th of July. The troughing is now off the coast, and now we start seeing those hotter temperatures here, whereas back east, here's the big Four Corners high, now over Utah, and then look at the pattern going into New England, nice cool air there. So that's the pattern change sometime around the 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th of July, something like that. And then this is the 10th, 11th, a big broad ridge here over the west, and that would be some pretty hot weather. So this is probably the pattern change that we're looking at. And the fear that I have here is that and I don't want to speculate too much, is that because we've seen a rather steady pattern of 4 weeks without anything in the way of real heat, that when the pattern flips, instead, then you may see 3 or 4 weeks with a lot of days over 100. So that's something to keep in mind as we head into July. So far so good. And if you have outdoor plans this weekend, it's going to be great. Yes, it'll be warm around 3, 4 in the afternoon, upper 90s to around 100 degrees, but nothing too excessive. And also do keep in mind that the mornings will still be very comfortable. So if you like to get out for a neighborhood walk, a run, whatever it might be, the mornings will still be comfortable and even still relatively comfortable at 1 in the afternoon. It's not one of those cases where it gets to be 100 degrees at 1 and it's still 100 degrees at 7 in the evening. That is not what we're looking at this weekend. What we may be seeing is that by the time we get to maybe the 7th to 10th part of July, we'll see. We'll see how that transpires. But in the meantime, it's Friday. We're heading into the weekend. It's going to be a nice summer weekend. I hope you get a chance to get out and enjoy it. Make it a great day. Make it a great weekend. I'll talk with you later.